Well, those who are planning to travel over the holiday weekend are likely furiously checking their weather apps for any kind of updates or watching your morning for any kind of updates. Environment Canada says that massive ice storm that meteorologists have titled the weather bomb is going to cause damaging winds, 5 to 15 centimeters of snow, and icy conditions for regions across Ontario, Quebec, and Atlantic Canada. That's on top of the storms that are hitting BC. So travel journalist Loren Christie is joining us this morning to put it into context and provide some help for people who are stuck and frustrated right now. Let's start with these latest cancellations from WestJet. If you are a traveler who is planning or got rebooked to travel today, not happening in BC, Ontario, and Quebec. So what do you do?
Well, I think at this point, and I hate to be the bearer of no hope at this time of year, but literally at this time, they are telling you if you're talking to WestJet, basically to not talk to them. Their contact centers are overwhelmed. The other issue at this point of the year is that, flights are busy. This was supposed to be the busiest travel time since the pandemic started. And so unfortunately, even if you want to sit and wait in those lines hoping to get rebooked, there's just not a lot of availability on flights to get rebooked on. So again, hate to say it, and at other times I may give different advice, but in this particular case, if you're traveling the next couple of days and your flight gets canceled, I would just take it. I would go home, I would process the refund and make other plans. I have a nephew who's been stuck in Vancouver since Monday.
Wow.
And we've been trying, the Vancouver storm started off the week terribly. It created this domino effect. So it's not like this is just happening today and let's see what we can do. They're still recovering from earlier in the week across the system. Crews and airlines, all of them are trying to rejuggle. And so, yeah, our nephew who was supposed to come home on Monday is fingers crossed, on a flight for tomorrow, Christmas Eve. He's been there all week stranded, and he lives in Victoria. So
we're gonna talk about other travel arrangements in just a moment, but I also want to ask you about news that came out of the Vancouver airport where they were telling people, don't stay here, just go home. But people are worried if they leave, they're gonna miss a flight.
Yeah, I mean, I think if your flight has not been canceled yet, I understand that. If you have a canceled flight and you have a faint hope that you think you're gonna get rebooked on something else, I trust their opinion on that point.
Okay.
I would go home. If you're still just being delayed, hold on and see, because the odd flight is getting out.
Okay.
So just try and keep your fingers crossed.
What about if you're traveling and you're not flying?
If you're traveling and not flying, there's a couple things. Right now, VIA is saying, full steam ahead. They have a lot of protocols and procedures in place. They're used to traveling in this type of weather. So a spokesperson there yesterday told me that if you are on a VIA train, you will get an email directly from them if there's any problems whatsoever. She reassured me of that. So full steam ahead for VIA. In terms of car travel, CAA, I think most of us have heard what's out there right now. It could be pretty treacherous if you're traveling regionally.
Yeah.
They had a couple of good tips. Take all the ice and snow off your car all the time, just as a safety thing. And the other tip that I thought was really great from CAA, she said to me, if you're the driver, tell your host you're going to get there when you're going to get there. And if you're the host, because at Christmas, it's like, please be here for dinner, please be here for this.
Yeah.
And if you're the host, just chill out. Let the person arrive when they arrive. Don't put any undue pressure on them. No text, no calls saying, when are you going to get here? So I do that. A couple of other tips out there in bad weather that we just had up on the board there. Check your flight status. So again, those people that are sitting at the airport, if your flight is canceled, don't bother going to the airport. In the next couple of days, it's not gonna change. Take the extra time on icy roads, as I just said, as you're doing it. Prioritize getting direct flights. So I would put this caveat to people who are not traveling in the next couple of days, because I just don't think you're going to get on a flight.
Okay.
But WestJet, for example, has said you can rebook up to January 8th. And so try and do a direct flight. I think we've all realized that regional weather this week can really affect your ability to get home. So again, using that example of my nephew, we could have got him home today, but he would have had to fly via Edmonton and Calgary and Toronto.
Big risk.
Big risk. And also, here's another one. Bring a carry-on at this point during this time of year, for sure.
Leave the gifts at home.
Leave the gifts at home. And then my last tip, which is, it's amazing, I put it yesterday when I talked to the producer, was keep on it. And initially my thought was keep going, because we got him rebooked by communicating via Twitter with Air Canada.
Yeah.
But I would put the caveat again, for the next couple of days, I think, unfortunately, you're out of luck.
Okay.
Both Air Canada and WestJet are offering and saying that you can get a full refund. Air Canada now, too. If you're traveling in the next couple of days and want to cancel on your own, they'll give you a refund. I would strongly consider doing that and taking advantage of that. So if your flight is canceled, go on and fill out that refund form. So keep on that.
Great information, Loren. Thank you so much for that. You'll be home for Christmas, if only in your dreams. I hate to say so.
It's bad.
Hey,
thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.